the door open to my creativity. I'm going to continue on last week, but with a change of scenery and pace. Last week, my dance studio covered most of my footwork, and that's fine and good for 1 week, but I think I need my full patio studio just to capture all the dance from head to toe. This has been fun, switching it up a bit, actually revealing the song and live choreographing as the moments pass. The problem is I make a lot of progress in between, and last time I had very little to no ideas right live in the moment. I basically just encapsulated all of my progress from a previous session. I'm doing the same thing today because for some reason this is just how the art is flowing. The art flows how it wants to, and maybe if I'm lucky I'll come up with some new live ideas, but otherwise this is just really a vlog capturing my progress. Last time I read the lyrics out, but I'll read them again just for fun, so you know what I'm dealing with, what we're dealing with from our artistic standpoint. Leave the Door Open, song by Anderson .Paak, Bruno Mars, and Silk Sonic. Said baby, said baby, said baby. What you doing, where you at, oh you got plans, don't say that, shut your trap, I'm sipping wine, sip, in a robe, drip, I look too good to be alone, woo, my house clean, my pool warm, just shave smooth like a newborn. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing and the west wing of this mansion. What's happening? I ain't playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lay in these arms, I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open, girl. I'ma leave the door open, hoping that you feel the way I feel and you want me like I want you tonight, baby. Tell me that you're coming through. This time I read it a little more like a singing cadence because that helps. If you read at a slower pace, you have a tendency to choreograph at a slower pace. So that's what I did last week. I read at a slower pace, more of a reading pace, and then my choreography tended to reflect that. In fact, my ideas were sluggish. Maybe this time, if I follow the cadence of the song, that's me reading out. The chorus I sang because that's what I want to focus on. I'm still dry choreographing. That means I'm just running through ideas right now without considering the beat, the rhythm of the song. All I'm considering right now are the words. The words are helping me with dance concepts and wordplay. Then I'll actually dance out my concepts and wordplay to the song and work on it from there. So that's usually how I do it. Maybe in the beginning I actually counted beats and choreographed beats 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 but I've since stopped with that because I think it just slows my choreography to a halt. Maybe one of these days I'll go back and basically add beats and counting. That's one thing I've noticed in performance. I've noticed that I do have a slight sync issue in terms of beats and rhythm, but I'm gonna take that on the chin for now. I'll take that as a byproduct of progress because sometimes you gotta balance things, right? In order to have some output, you have to know what the scope is of what you're dealing with. And if you can limit the scope, then you can at least have some outcome. I'm that kind of creative. There's a balance between letting it flow and having some progress. Okay? We want to avoid the Axl Rose Chinese democracy debacle. He's been working on that Guns N' Roses album for who knows how long. Did he ever even release it? Sometimes you want to release it for yourself just so you can free your mind for new creativity. That's how I view it. This is less about a commercial endeavor of release it for money. It's more release it so you can release the capacity in your brain to do some other shit. Because I find that if I'm, for example, stewing over something, then that blocks my mind from new ideas. So that's why I like to really limit my choreography windows to less than a couple of weeks. In general, I've been aiming for 2 weeks per choreography. That's been a good pace for me. So that means, to be honest, I'm a little bit behind. I should have been done the choreography by today, and then practice would come for the next week. But in any case, last time I had what you do, where you at, you got plans, don't say that shit too far. Okay, then I stopped at I'm drinking wine, sip sip in a road, drip drip. I came up with something, so it's, what did I come up with? I'm sipping wine, sip sip. Can you even see my legs now? Sipping wine, sip sip in a road, drip drip. Okay. The rest of my stuff is on the floor. I think I can do it. Do I feel all packed in here? Yes. Let's run through that again. I just ate. So do I want to throw these down right now? Okay. I'll leave that move out because I just ate, and if I go invert, I might have acid reflux. So, last time, I already came up with the concept of leave the door open. Something like this. But I've modified it a bit to really mimic door movements. First of all, I mirrored everything. Here's my first door. Here's my first door. Okay. Then I decided to continue to the tut straight into my second door. Okay. But my problem is I get twisted and tangled up in the transition between door 1 and door 2. I'm gonna have to work on that. That's all footwork. So when running through this, I realized actually repeated footwork in both situations. Do I want that? Because sipping wine, sip, sip has the same footwork as I'm gonna leave the door open. Do I want that? It feels good in both places because it's like sip, sip, drip, drip. Huh. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna have to think. But I really do like the concept of double doors. I just have to figure out how I integrate the footwork into that. I've considered just doing a straight plant and pivoting, but that looks a little bot-like. But maybe I'm okay with it being bot animation style. I'm gonna think about it. I like a lot of different styles, and I really go more with what serves the concept in wordplay over flow. That's why sometimes maybe my dances look disjointed. Do they? Maybe they do, but that's what it's gonna be right now. Anyways, I'm gonna leave the door open. Now I mirror it back. I'm gonna leave the door open. What's up with this? Something like that. But again, I'm cool with mirroring the same arms with differences to reflect the differences in lyrics, but I'm stuck with the footwork again because I'm dancing into the camera a lot with my lifted foot. I've wanted to do that once, twice sliding onto the ground, and then again. So I'm gonna probably think of something more original than that. Last time I had come up with something like this, and I thought I was gonna leave the door open. What's up with the hands? What's my rotation? Okay, that's the rotation. One of the problems is that I'm both dancing and filming myself as a single person in one single role. My perspective looking is slightly different than what shows up on camera. So that's been a difficult transition for me. One of these days maybe I'll ask someone else to actually properly film one of my dances. The differences are immense. This is essentially like comparing yourself to a Hollywood output. First of all, they have better technology than you, but second of all, they have people. They can segregate duties so that one person concentrates on one thing. For me, I've loved the fact that I have all the creative realm in the world to do everything, but I'm also gentle on myself when I realize that what I'm capturing on camera is going to be limited by both my technology and my abilities as a single person doing everything at once. So the last couple of weeks, I've had trouble telling, are my tuts at a 90? Because when I'm looking right now, the tuts are a 90. But when I'm looking up on screen, ooh, they're a little bit off. So I must rotate them to a 90. But then when I look back, ooh, they're off 90 again. So this is part of the problem. Parallax. I think actually that explains a lot why sometimes when I'm rewatching myself and I'm watching in slow-mo, I'm just a hair off of the horizontal or vertical. This is more just a reminder to me that you're doing the best you can, kid. You're just limited where you're limited. That's it. So then, I'm gonna move this from, I'm gonna leave the door open to another lyric. Maybe that you feel the way I feel, and you want me tonight. I think that part feels better. And you want me tonight, baby. Tell me that you're coming through. So I'm trying to decide where I'm gonna cut the song off to, because if you've ever watched professional choreography, a lot of times they just do a very abridged version of the song, maybe one verse, maybe one chorus, maybe just a chorus, maybe just a verse. So part of choreography is knowing what segment of the song you want to cut off. I guess I've already made a choice because I started from the beginning. But the second verse is different. So let's read it out. Maybe we have better ideas for the second verse. Ooh, you're so sweet, so tight. I won't bite, unless you like. If you smoke, what you smoke, I got the haze, purple haze. And if you're hungry, girl, I got fillets. Woo, woo, oh baby, don't keep me waiting. There's so much love we could be making. Shamo, I'm talking kissing, cuddling, Rose petals in the bathtub, girl, it's jumping, it's bubbling. I ain't playing no games. I have a tendency to want to sing. It's hard for me to just read it out in the cadence. I want to sing. I almost started singing. I'm playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lay in these arms... Okay. Thing is, I actually like the second verse's lyrics better, but will I come up with better ideas than what I had? I'm gonna throw some ideas out. I might end up cutting this, but maybe. I mean, some typical ideas. So sweet, so tight. Oh wow, neck cracks. Yeah. Okay. Oh. I did come up with some more too. In the east wing and the west wing of this mansion, what's that? In the east wing and the west what's that? Okay, so those are some of the ideas I have right now. Am I close to being done? Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just be done for the sake of progress. Again, I think I do have sometimes perfectionism tendencies. How I counteract it is I just force myself to work within a reasonable timeline. Having danced the entire pandemic, I know that 2 weeks is sufficient for me to come up with a fully final product, one new choreography to a pop song. What I have solace in is that that new choreography enters the mental Rolodex, and every dance day, which is 5 days a week, 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, I'm practicing all of my choreography from beginning to end. I have one nice half-hour to 45-minute dance routine where I basically just cycle through all of the choreographies I've done since the very beginning in an abridged cardio version. So this 30-45 minutes is designed for me to remember my own choreography and basically get my cardio in for the day. I've married that with the Huberman lifestyle. So usually what I do is I do that self-designed, self-created cardio workout at the beginning of the day before 9 a.m. so that I finish by 9 a.m. That's all outside, so I can absorb the early morning sunlight directly into my eyes and without glasses. This basically helps me combine a couple of things together. I'm going to do a separate podcast on how I feel after living the Huberman lifestyle for almost a year now. But this is some sneak peek about that. How do I feel about this choreography? I mean, I've got some steps down, some good steps down. What part is harder? Dancing the choreography to the song afterwards? Yeah, even after I have a dance, when I start to add music to it, that's when I go through the reps. I usually pick a cover song that I like the groove to. I'm yet to pick the cover song, so I'll have to do that. Sometimes, if I've come across it already, I'll pick it first. But a lot of the times what I've done is I just watch so much dance that a certain song gets into my head because I've watched so many choreographed dances of it. This is one of those songs. When I was choreographing BTS Butter, For some reason, this song came up a couple times. The first time I encountered the song was actually Steezy Dance Studio and the 3 choreographers, 1 song. What happened was one of them, the choreographers, is very tut heavy, and I really liked the way he incorporated tutting into his dance. But I took one of the more b-boy moves that he had in Leave the Door Open for BTS's Butter. And I did my version of it because technically he did a completely different pass. I think he rotated a different way, he rotated with different limbs, but for some reason he inspired me to do my version of that. Obviously, when I talk about I've taught myself to b-boy, I've taught myself maybe some of the basic elements. Will I ever be heavily acrobatic into the power moves? No, I doubt it, because I think it's hard to learn something like that on a floor like this. Part of the key of dancing for me is that I want to do it outside. I really do. I want to basically combine as many healthy protocols as possible into one thing that'll help me start my day off right and keep my energy levels up for all of the other activities that I want to do, including editing my rockumentary. So, I've been cycling through all of that lifestyle perspective because I'm still thinking, do I want to cut off? I think I will. This is my first choreography back in a while, and I think I'm just going to limit it. Aww. We have many neighborhood dogs, and they keep my love for animals fully satiated without me having to put in the responsibility. Okay, do I have anything new that I could do? East Wing and the West Wing. So this turned out a little differently than I thought. I thought I'd actually have some live ideas that I could capture in the moment. What might work better is one of these days I'll just record myself when I've already come up with one idea, just in the moment, because this is harder. Right now, basically, I'm just encapsulating, summarizing my progress since the last time I recorded. So that's a difficult thing. Even when I had the intention last week, it's just that when I started doing shit, I just had some stuff come out at nighttime in bed. What happens is I sleep in a room with some mirrors, so while respecting the no lights policy after 9 p.m., what I do is I can still observe myself in a mirror with all the lights off and have general form. So sometimes, yes, I've woken up in the middle of the night and thought to myself, okay, I have a dance move, I'll mime it in front of my mirrored closet, and I can actually see quite well in the dark. So Huberman's lifestyle is, just to summarize, lights out by 10 p.m. I do it by 9 p.m. And that includes screens off, cell phones off. So even if I'm actually still maybe awake, listening to a podcast, I've turned all lights off. Of course, I'm in bed with the intention to go to sleep, but I'm fairly relaxed with myself about it. I know that some people read Matt Walker's Why We Sleep. He's also a neuroscience professional, and for some reason people read that book and they were scared shitless, and they started becoming sleep anxious, which affected their ability to sleep. But I read that book and I'm fine, and I think what I took from it is that I'm sleep easygoing still. I give myself all the good proper sleep hygiene environment. Then what I do is I also sleep with my window fully open and with as little clothes as possible, because I know that entering sleep coincides with a drop in body temperature. So if you couple the cold body temperature, no light, then I sleep until usually about the 8 a.m.-ish. Yeah. So I aim for 7 hours of solid actual sleep a night. I'm wearing 2 different trackers right now. And I'm a bit of a science surfer in a sense. If either of my watches lists me as having slept a full 7 hours, I will then wake up. Usually that's by 8 a.m. I then do the morning sunlight protocol as I explained, again by neuroscientist Andrew Huberman. I'm aiming for 100,000 lux of light in my eyes before 9 a.m. Given that I live in dark, dank Vancouver winters, that usually has to translate into about 30 to 40 minutes outside, but that's good. I've paired it up with the dancing cardio that I have to do anyways, so that works out well. Now, there are some nights or mornings that I wake up and I find that I have been short of 7 full hours of actual sleep. Then I actually try to force my ass back into bed. This has been something new that I've been trying. For example, if I am to reveal what sleep tracking yielded yesterday, notice even though I was in bed by 9 p.m., my watch caught me out, twisting and turning. Look at that. Twisting and turning until about 11-ish p.m. That's one of the worser nights. And according to my watch, I was actually awake for 45 minutes of that total time. So what does that mean for me? That means I'm good. I got 8 hours total, 45 minutes awake, so that's still 7:15. But that's what I mean by actual sleep. Matt Walker has clarified this in his book. When they talk about 7 to 8 hours of sleep, they mean of actual sleep as opposed to sleep opportunity. Obviously, there's a metric called sleep efficiency. That means if you were to sleep immediately upon entering your bed, you'd be 100% efficient. But unfortunately, most humans take a little bit of time. And for me, I just minus that out so I make sure that I have the full 7 hours of sleep. Now I'm leading into my next week's vlog, but it's made actually quite a difference in my performance and in my overall mental state. Andrew Huberman has been my science guy for the whole year. He actually has the #1 health-related podcast, I think, on one of the lists, so check him out. I think it's worth it. The thing about Andrew Huberman that I greatly appreciate is he focuses on behavioral protocols first. You can go try any of a number of other escalated things after you've tried behavior, but far too often people jump to pharmacological medical interventions before they even have tried some of these behavioral protocols. For me, I was surprised to know how much of a difference the behavior protocols make. Now, obviously, I think part of it is about people's laziness in general. Behavioral protocols require dedication by you, behavior by you. But pills are cheap thrills, right? People are hoping they can outsource the responsibility to a pill. That'll be something that I address in my next vlog. Or do I even want to address in this vlog? Nah, I think I'm good. I've done all the dancing that I think I can today, and I'm good. Again, I had no new ideas this week, but whatever. Maybe eventually I'll have them, and I can have them live.